My mom was a single mom. My dad was a typical alcoholic, drug addict, wannabe rock star. Very, very, very talented, but drugs kind of took control of his life. And, we had nothing. We lived in the projects. We lived in the trailer parks. Lived in my mom's car when I was 12. Didn't like that too much. So started working at 12 years old, man. And
what'd you do?
I actually started as a dishwasher at the Arrowhead Deli in Davie. I'll never forget it. And the guy there, this Greek guy I worked for, hard ass dude, like just yelling and screaming every day, all day. And I come in one day after being there for about a month, just washing dishes, and none of the cooks showed up. I guess the night before, he had just bitched everybody out, and they're like, well, fuck you, I'm not coming to work. Nobody showed up. So it's him and it's me washing dishes. He's like, I need help, you gotta get out of here, you gotta get out of here. So I'm like, all right, what? So he literally, within 5 minutes, showed me how to flip an egg with a pan, which to this day I can't even use a damn spatula because I learned how to flip eggs with a pan, and like how to make like pancakes with the little thing, and that was it, man. I hopped on the grill, and I started cooking, and he was impressed because I never went back to the kitchen again or to the dishwasher again after that day. So at this point, I'm like 12 and a half, 13 years old, cooking at this relatively busy restaurant, breakfast restaurant, and bringing home money, so it was a very interesting beginning to my understanding of money.
Right? You remind me kind of how my childhood was to some degree. I didn't start working at 12. I started at 15. I was a waiter for about 8 years, and I grew up with my grandmother. She raised me. Uh-huh. My parents were never in the picture. Never met them. My father, similarly grew up very poor. I didn't live in a trailer or a car. My grandmother didn't have a car. But I was also in the food business for the early teenage years. Yeah. It's interesting.
So, long story short, I did that. Then we would go up to, New Jersey. So at 13, I got a job at a place called Gateway 26. But in New Jersey, you could work in the summertime for 20 hours a week, but you had to be 14 years old. And like, I had my job down South Florida. I can't get anybody here to hire me. What the hell do I do? So I made a fake birth certificate. I remember my birthday's in May, so I had just recently turned 13, and I started working, and like 6-8 weeks in, they call me into the office, Marty and Brian Sharp and Marty, great people, call me in, they're like, listen, you're one of the best employees we have here. And something happened where I caught somebody like running a scam it was like an arcade casino, right? And nobody else caught it. He had been running it for years. And I caught them at 13 years old. But he's like, look, man, your birth certificate is fake. And we can't keep you working here anymore. We have to fire you. He goes, but next year, come back and, you have a job. We're not happy with what you did, but you have a job. So I ended up going back up there, working there every year, every summer for, probably till I was like 18, 19 years old, something like that, before I got in trouble, really. And so I always had that, and I always had something else going on. So I always had kind of my own little business. When I was in South Florida, when I lived in the trailer park, I went and bought myself a little lawnmower with my paycheck one day, and I would just door to door every day after school and on the weekends, just knocking on doors. I cut you out for $20. No, 15. Like, what's it going to, 10? Whatever. And I just didn't stop. And probably, I would say by the time I was 15.
How long did it take you to mow the lawn? How long did it take you to make the $20?
Man, back then, it depends, right? Because we're talking about a trailer park. So I live in Parkland now. We have these huge lots. But, it would probably take me realistically 30 minutes. And I was like real big on making sure I did a good job. So I didn't have like a weed eater and shit like that. So I would literally hand pick like the edges of the things so it look nice for them when they come outside. And by the time I was 15, basically every one of my friends was working for me. I had a bunch of lawnmowers, and this was my first business sale. And again, looking back, the guy I wish I knew the guy's name because I would love to knock on his door and shake his hand right now because it did shape a lot of my career moving forward this particular time. But you're talking about taking advantage of me. I lived in this trailer park off of Red Road, right? And I was probably mowing a couple 100 yards a month at this point, right? So it was a big account. All my friends were working for me, literally walking around the neighborhood with their lawnmowers. They come to my shed every day, pick up the lawnmower.
How many guys did you have working for you?
At that time, I probably had 8 to 12, depending on the day, cutting grass, right?
But you were taking a cut.
Yeah, I was just paying them. You know what I mean? Like if it was $20, I gave them 5 to 10, depending. I provided the lawnmower, I provided the gas, I provided the client, right?